David is anointed King of Israel. A reading from the first book of Samuel. In those days, the Lord said to Samuel, "Fill your oil with oil and go. I will send you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided for myself a king among his sons." When they came, he looked on Eliab and thought, "Surely the Lord's anointed is before him." But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not look on his appearance or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart." And Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel. And Samuel said to Jesse, "The Lord has not chosen these." And Samuel said to Jesse, "Are all your sons here?" And he said, "There remains yet the youngest, but behold, he is keeping the sheep." And Samuel said to Jesse, "Send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he comes here." And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy and had beautiful eyes, and was handsome. And the Lord said, "Arise, anoint him, for this is he." Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon David from that day forward. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. Fresh and green are the pastures, where it gives me repose. Near restful waters he leads me, he revives my soul.
The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
He guides me along the right path. For the sake of his name, though I should walk in the valley of the shadow of death, no evil would I fear, for you are with me. Your crook and your staff will give me comfort.
The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
You have prepared a table before me, in the sight of my foes. My head you have anointed with oil, my cup is overflowing.
The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. In the Lord's own house shall I dwell, for length of days unending.
The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
Arise from the dead, and Christ shall give you light. A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Ephesians. Brethren, once you were darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light, for the fruit of light is found in all that is good and right and true. And try to learn what is pleasing to the Lord. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. For it is a shame even to speak of the things that they do in secret. But when anything is exposed by the light, it becomes visible. For anything that becomes visible is light. Therefore it is said, "Awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give you light." The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
I am the light of the world, says the Lord. follows me will have the light of life.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
At that time, as Jesus passed by, he saw a man blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Jesus answered, "It was not that this man sinned or his parents, but that the works of God might be made manifest in him. We must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. Night comes when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world." As he said this, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle and anointed the man's eyes with the clay, saying to him, "Go wash in the pool of Siloam," which means sent. So he went and washed and came back seeing. The neighbors and those who had seen him before as a beggar said, "Is not this the man who used to sit and beg?" Some said, "It is he." Others said, "No, but he is like him." He said, "I am the man." They said to him, "Then how were your eyes opened?" He answered, "The man called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes and said to me, 'Go to Siloam and wash.' So I went and washed and received my sight." They said to him, "Where is he?" He said, "I do not know." They brought to the Pharisees the man who had formerly been blind. Now it was a Sabbath day when Jesus made the clay and opened his eyes. The Pharisees again asked him how he had received his sight. And he said to them, "He put clay on my eyes, and I washed, and I see." Some of the Pharisees said, "This man is not from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath." But others said, "How can a man who is a sinner do such signs?" There was a division among them. So they again said to the man, the blind man, "What do you say about him, since he has opened your eyes?" He said, "He is a prophet." The Jews did not believe that he had been born blind and had received his sight until they called his parents, the parents of the man who had received his sight, and asked them, "Is this your son, who you say was born blind? How then does he now see?" His parents answered, "We know that this is our son, and that he was born blind. But how he now sees, we do not know, nor do we know who opened his eyes. Ask him. He is of age. He will speak for himself." The parents said this because they feared the Jews, for the Jews had already agreed that if anyone should confess him to be Christ, he was to be put out of the synagogue. Therefore his parents said, "He is of age, ask him." For the second time they called the man who had been blind and said to him, "Give God the praise. We know that this man is a sinner." He answered, "Whether he is a sinner, I do not know. One thing I know, that though I was blind, now I see." They said to him, "What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes?" He answered them, "I told you already, and you would not listen. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you too want to become his disciples?" And they reviled him, saying, "You are his disciple, but we are disciples of Moses. We know that God has spoken to Moses, but as of this man, we do not know where he comes from." The man answered them, "Why, this is a marvel. You do not know where he comes from, yet he opened my eyes. We know that God does not listen to sinners, but if anyone is a worshiper of God and does his will, God listens to him. Never since the world began has it been heard that anyone opened the eyes of a man born blind. If this man were not from God, he could do nothing." They answered him, "You were born in utter sin, and would you teach us?" And they cast him out. Jesus heard that they had cast him out, and having found him, he said, "Do you believe in the Son of God?" He answered, "Who is he, sir, that I may believe in him?" Jesus said to him, "You have seen him, and it is he who speaks to you." He said, "Lord, I believe," and he worshipped him. Jesus said, "For judgment I came into this world, that those who do not see may see, and that those who see may become blind." Some of the Pharisees near him heard this, and they said to him, "Are we also blind?" Jesus said to them, "If you were blind, you would have no guilt. But now that you say we see, your guilt remains." The good news of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The disciples of Jesus asked him a question that many people ask in different ways, in different forms. We hear in the gospel, as Jesus is passing by, he comes across a man who was born blind. And the disciples asked Jesus a question: who sinned? Is it this man who sinned? Or is it his parents who sinned that he is blind? Is it him who sinned? Or is it his parents who sinned that this man is blind? It's a question, like I said, which we ask in different forms, in different ways. Not just about physical features in people, but about what goes on in our lives. Who is to blame? We want to find somebody to blame. Why is it that I am struggling? Who is to blame for this? Why is it that my family is struggling? Who is to blame for this? Whose fault is it? Is it my fault? Is it the fault of my parents? Is it the fault of my ancestors? And sometimes we even blame innocent people. Is it my village people who are to blame. I studied as hard as I could. I did all my best. I went into that exam room. I looked at the paper and it looked like it was all written in Greek. And I don't know Greek. Who is to blame? Is it my village people? And you even come and see the chaplain at the office. Father, I know it's my village people. Because the same thing happened to my sister, the same thing happened to my brother. It always happens in our family. Father, it is our village people who are jealous of us. They're looking for somebody to blame. Why are things not going on well in my life? Who is to blame? That's the question that the disciples asked Jesus today. Here is this man, and things are not going on well in his life. He is not like the rest of us. He is unfortunate. Misfortune has befallen him, and who is to blame, Lord? Is it him who sinned, or it is his parents? Where should we place the blame? Now, Jesus answers the question in a very interesting way. He begins by saying to the disciples, it is not that this man sinned or his parents. And then he goes on, but that the works of God might be made manifest in him. It is not that somebody sinned, that we have this person who is facing misfortune. No. It is not his fault, Jesus says. It is not the fault of his parents. It's not the fault of his ancestors. It's not the fault of the village people. They're innocent. Leave them alone. They have their own problems in the village. Leave them alone. It's not their fault. But what is going on, Jesus says, is that through this person who is facing misfortune, the glory of God might be made manifest. That the glory of God might be made manifest. That God will be glorified through the seeming misfortune of this person who is around us. And Jesus goes ahead to do exactly what he is talking about. He restores the sight of this man. He heals this man. He does something for this man. In other words, what Jesus is doing, what Jesus is saying, in responding to the disciples and saying to them, it is not that this man sinned, but that God's glory might be made manifest through him, is that we are supposed to ask ourselves a question. When somebody is facing misfortune, we ask ourselves not whether this person is at fault or somebody else is at fault, but rather, how can God's glory be made manifest in this person who is facing misfortune? What kind of opportunity is this presenting to me as a Christian when I face somebody, or I come across somebody who is facing misfortune? When Jesus encounters this man, he finds in this man an opportunity to do something good for the person who is facing misfortune. He sees in that an opportunity to glorify the name of God, and he does something about what this man is going through. Because for him, it is an opportunity to do something good, to show the glory of God. When we come across somebody who is struggling with something in their lives, the question is not, why is this person suffering? The question should be, what can I do about this situation to alleviate the suffering of my brother, my sister who is struggling? When you come across a fellow student who is struggling with their studies, the question should not be, oh, what kind of school did this person come from? But rather, what can I do to help my brother, my sister in her studies if there's something that I'm good at myself? If you come across a fellow student who is struggling because she or he comes from unfortunate circumstances, an unfortunate background, and they don't have sufficient resources. Maybe the person is really struggling to find food, and you have sufficient. The question for you should be, what can I do to help this person so that the glory of God can be made manifest in this?